All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. I'm Lila Hunt. I'm the Deputy Director of Public Health and Campaigns. And today marks the official launch of the state's newest public health campaign called Why Buy Legal New York, which is targeted to adult cannabis consumers ages 21 and over. As New York State transitions into a world post-cannabis prohibition, the Office of Cannabis Management is proud to lead with an education-first approach for regulating and creating a brand new licensed industry. But what does this actually mean? An education-first approach with Why Buy Legal means informing the public of the benefits of purchasing products from state-licensed dispensaries and how regulated products are safer than unregulated products. Ultimately, Why Buy Legal will help inform consumers about what to expect as more licensed cannabis dispensaries and products become available across the state. Why Buy Legal will work to protect public health and safety by helping to transition cannabis consumers away from the illicit market and to the regulated market, and in turn, supporting equity licensees. The MRTA, New York State's cannabis law, sets the course for this. It prioritizes building an equitable cannabis industry designed to offset the harms caused by the disproportionate enforcement of cannabis prohibition, including a priority for individuals who are convicted of cannabis-related crimes or members of their families. So today we will hear from Catherine Diaz, who will share remarks and introduce our ads in Spanish after we see them in English. Next, we will hear from Joe Bellick, the chair of the Cannabis Advisory Board, and John Kagia, the Director of Policy at the Office of Cannabis Management. And we will conclude our events today with remarks from OCM and the Cannabis Control Board executive leadership, as well as Dashida Dawson, founder of New York City Cannabis. But before we go much further, let's watch the ads. And you'll also notice static ads featuring OCM licensees around the room, as well as print materials in the back, including our guide to safer cannabis consumption. We will begin with our ad following King and Jasmine, two cultivators from Copake, New York, who will talk about where the licensed supply chain gets its roots.
We are among the first 300 family farmers growing adult use cannabis legally in New York. From Harlem to the Hudson Valley, we started by growing food to feed our family, and now we're growing cannabis to support our community.
Our harvest will help build an inclusive economy and an equitable cannabis industry. And we are proud to be a part of this new legal industry that reinvests in our community.
And next up is an ad that features Eddie Brennan from Lafayette, New York, who will take us on a tour of his processing facility to demonstrate some of the safety standards we see in the manufacture of regulated cannabis products.
As a licensed cannabis processor, I want New Yorkers to know they're buying a product they can trust. When my team crafts cannabis products, it's equal parts passion and science. Our products are tested for contaminants, and our labels include accurate information about lab findings and ingredients. When you buy legal cannabis in New York, you know exactly what you're getting.
Next, we'll see an ad that highlights Howard Hoffman from Long Island, who's here with us today, to talk us through some of the safety measures and regulated cannabis products.
As a licensed cannabis processor, we want New Yorkers to know they're buying a product they can trust. It's the care we put into our products that makes them safer for cannabis consumers.
And next, we'll head over to the Southern Tier to enjoy what we can expect to see at a regulated dispensary, narrated by and starring Damien and his staff in Binghamton. And Damien's here with us today. Thanks for joining us.
New York's legal cannabis industry is breaking barriers every day. When people walk into our dispensary, I want them to know this is a safe space. They can be daily cannabis consumers, or maybe they are just curious and need advice or information they can depend on. We work with New York family farmers and processors to provide safer, tested cannabis products. Buying legal cannabis in New York is more than just access to quality products. The reason is simple. Every purchase you make is an investment in your community, and it helps create jobs for your neighbors.
And our last messaging area is around the safe storage of cannabis products. It's an essential message you'll recognize from Cannabis Conversations, OCM's first campaign, and a message we will continue to prioritize for parents and trusted adults about properly storing cannabis products and preventing underage and accidental consumption of cannabis.
Whether you're a cannabis expert or occasional consumer, storing cannabis products safely is an important part of the experience. Store cannabis in a secure location that's locked and out of reach of children and pets. Always keep it in its original packaging and talk to your family and friends about safe storage.
And for the parents in the room, we have some locked bags in the back for you to demo and to take home with you as well following today's event. And now I'll turn it to Catherine Diaz, OCM's Public Education Campaigns Coordinator, to provide some remarks and show us the ads in Spanish.
All right. Buenas tardes a todos y todas. Muchísimas gracias por su asistencia. Hoy se marca el lanzamiento oficial de la nueva campaña de salud pública ¿Por qué comprar legal Nueva York?, dirigida a consumidores de cannabis mayores de 21 años. Nueva York avanza dejando atrás la prohibición del cannabis y la oficina está orgullosa de liderar con un enfoque en educación y lanzar una industria nueva regulada. Disculpa. Pero ¿esto qué significa en realidad? ¿Por qué comprar legal Nueva York? Informará a los consumidores de cannabis qué esperar a medida que más dispensarios y productos autorizados estén disponibles. ¿Por qué comprar legal Nueva York? Trabajará simultáneamente para proteger la salud y seguridad pública, al ayudar a los consumidores a transicionar al mercado autorizado y a su vez apoyar a los comerciantes con licencias de equidad. Los datos muestran que el cannabis es consumido por igual en todas las culturas y etnicidades. Una campaña de salud pública que da prioridad a la educación significa informar al público de los beneficios de comprar productos en dispensarios autorizados y alertarles sobre los peligros potenciales de comprar cannabis no autorizados y sin pruebas de laboratorio. La belleza de crear una nueva industria son las oportunidades innumerables para comerciantes, consumidores y el público en general. La ley de cannabis en Nueva York, también conocida por sus siglas en inglés MRTA, establece la base para esto, priorizando una industria equitativa diseñada para compensar los daños causados por la aplicación desproporcionada de las medidas de la prohibición del cannabis, y eso incluye prioridad para las personas con condenas de cannabis o sus familiares. Y ahora vamos a empezar a ver los videos en español en el mismo orden que lo vimos en inglés, y vamos a empezar con nuestro anuncio acerca de la equidad social. Y es un anuncio que incluye a algunos de nuestros cultivadores, King y Jasmine.
Más de 300 familias agricultoras cultivan cannabis para el uso adulto legal en Nueva York. Desde Harlem al Hudson Valley, cultivan para mantener a sus familias y sus comunidades. Forman parte de una industria equitativa que apoya a los perjudicados por la prohibición del cannabis. Estamos fomentando una nueva relación entre el negocio y la cultura del cannabis en Nueva York. Apoya la nueva industria legal que está reinvirtiendo en nuestras comunidades.
El próximo video o anuncio es acerca de los productos más seguros. Incluye a Howard Hoffman, que también está con nosotros, y nos va a enseñar su facilidad de procesar productos de cannabis.
Nueva York está fomentando el desarrollo de productos de cannabis más seguros. Los agricultores, procesadores y dispensarios autorizados están creando productos confiables para todas las personas en Nueva York. Los productos de cannabis son analizados para detectar contaminantes y las etiquetas muestran los ingredientes y resultados del laboratorio. Productos no regulados pueden tener ingredientes dañinos. Cuando compras cannabis legal en Nueva York, sabes exactamente lo que obtienes.
El próximo video es acerca de las tiendas o de nuestros dispensarios regulados y también incluye a otro comerciante que se llama Damien Cromwell desde la ciudad de Binghamton, que también está presente con nosotros en el día de hoy.
Nueva York está creando una industria de cannabis legal. Si consumes cannabis diario o solo tienes curiosidad, los dispensarios son un lugar seguro para preguntar y aprender más. Los productos son de confianza, gracias a los agricultores y procesadores de Nueva York. Trabajan juntos para crear productos de cannabis más seguros. El cannabis legal en Nueva York es más que solo comprar calidad, es crear trabajo para tus vecinos y invertir en el éxito de tu comunidad.
Okay. Y por último, pero sumamente importante, es nuestro video acerca del almacenamiento de productos de cannabis. En el día de hoy aquí tenemos nuestras bolsas atrás donde se pueden encerrar y mantener a nuestros mascotas, a los niños, a las niñas y familiares seguros. Eso sí podemos ahora.
No importa si eres un consumidor casual o experto en cannabis, hay que almacenarlo correctamente. Siempre mantén el cannabis bajo llave y fuera del alcance de niños y mascotas. Manténlo en su empaque original y habla con familiares y amigos sobre cómo almacenarlo de manera segura.
Muchísimas gracias. Y ahora vamos a seguir con nuestro programa. Voy a compartir los nombres en español y luego los comentarios van a ser en inglés. Próximamente vamos a escuchar en inglés de nuevo a Joe Bellick, presidente de la Junta o el Cannabis Advisory Board en inglés, seguido por John Kaguia, que él es el director de políticas en OCM. Y luego nuestro director ejecutivo, Chris Alexander, seguido por último por Tremaine Wright, presidente de la Junta de Oil Cannabis Control Board en inglés. Así que Joe Bellick, come on up.
Thank you very much, Catherine. It's great to be here in Queens to launch the Why Buy Legal New York program. My name is Joe Bellick. I'm the chair of New York's Cannabis Advisory Board. I want to thank the members of the advisory board who met this morning here to start the process of doing the hard work that's assigned to us. Several of the advisory board members are still here in the room, and we appreciate them taking the time to join us here today. As more and more adult use dispensaries are opening, it's time to remind New Yorkers that they need to buy legal and buy cannabis from our state's licensed shops. The Cannabis Advisory Board's main role is to implement the Community Reinvestment Fund, to hand out money to organizations and local governments across New York State. In order to do that, we need the funds that come from buying legal. If you are buying from a non-licensed dispensary or a non-legal distributor of cannabis, you're taking money out of the Community Reinvestment Fund that the advisory board is going to oversee, and you're taking money out of the communities that you live in and communities across New York State. So one reason to buy legal is to help accomplish the social justice and equity goals and to fully fund the reinvestment fund that the advisory board will be overseeing. Secondly, I am a product liability consumer lawyer, and we focus on product safety. If you're buying from a legal dispensary, you're getting a safe product with proper labeling that's been tested. It's the same standard that we would apply to any product that is sold in the consumer market. If you're not buying from a legal dispensary, you don't know what type of product you're getting, you don't know if it's safe, it's unlikely to be properly labeled. So for those two reasons and others, the Cannabis Advisory Board fully supports the Buy Legal program and wants to encourage consumers across the state to use licensed dispensaries. I want to thank Lila and the Office of Cannabis Management for the terrific work they did on this program, and thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Kagia, and I'm the Director of Policy at the Office of Cannabis Management. And I couldn't be more proud of the work that Lila and the team have done to build this important and very timely campaign, Why Buy Legal New York? We know a lot of New Yorkers consume cannabis. Over 3 million consumers in the state consume cannabis at least once a year. And we know that New Yorkers are rightfully excited about legal cannabis in New York State, as they should be. This campaign is part of our broader effort to build an equitable, sustainable, and successful cannabis industry by educating consumers on the legal market and encouraging New Yorkers to consume safely, responsibly, and legally. Buying legal cannabis and the Why Buy Legal campaign is about ensuring New Yorkers understand that they now have access to safer, tested products in the legal market. Now, we know there's a lot of cannabis available in the unregulated market, but we don't know where these products are from, and we often know that these products contain contaminants and adulterants like pesticides, like heavy metals, which consumers shouldn't be consuming. Our legal product is safer because of the high standard for quality and testing that our local producers must meet. Buying legal cannabis in this campaign is also about supporting the members of your communities who are building New York's legal market. The Why Buy Legal campaign introduces to New Yorkers the growers, the processors, and the retail dispensary owners who are the vanguard of this industry. These business owners are building our cannabis industry supply chain, which we began last year through the Seeding Opportunity Initiative, which gave the first adult use cannabis cultivation licenses to family and community farms across the state. Since then, nearly 300 cultivators, 40 processors, and 165 retailers are now authorized to operate within the state, and those numbers are growing with many more to come. These licensees and the quality tested products that they're offering are building a market that could grow well beyond $7 billion over the next decade. As we lay the foundation for this very exciting and profoundly opportunity-rich market, we encourage New Yorkers to get to know the legal retailers in the communities, get to know the diverse, innovative, and very exciting brands that represent the best of New York. And as we look forward to the first 420 since adult use sales began in New York, we encourage New Yorkers to be good neighbors, to support the legal businesses in their communities, and to consume safely, responsibly, and legally. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Tremaine Wright, the chairperson for the Cannabis Control Board. And today I am, on behalf of the board, I just want to say thank you to our Cannabis Advisory Board, as well as the entire OCM staff, because this is a tremendous lift, and this is exactly what we need in this moment, an education program that goes out and spreads the word across this state that New York has a licensed, regulated, safe product available that is produced by licensed in cannabis industry players here in New York. As our videos just displayed, there are over 300 cultivators in this state, almost 100 processors, and we have already licensed almost, I'm going to say 250 dispensary licensees. So we have a host of cannabis industry players who have agreed to provide New York State with a safe way to consume cannabis, as well as a way and a means for us to find the way to reinvest in community, the way we all intended for cannabis to operate in this state. So thank you for this lift. Thank you for this education program, and thank our players for being a part of it. New York State, we have a responsibility to make sure that when we consume, that it finds its way back as a reinvestment in our communities. That's what the intent of the law was. That's how we've been rolling out this program across the state, and that's the way cannabis will continue to grow in New York State. And we want to make sure that we're all safe doing it together. So SRL, safe, responsible, legal. That's what we need to focus on. That's exactly what we need to remember. That's how we need to conduct ourselves, and we need to make sure that we're spreading the word so that everyone is safe, responsible, and legal, and that we are all growing cannabis in this state together. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much, Cannabis Control Board Chair, Cannabis Advisory Board Chair, the board members who are in attendance and those who could not join us. Special shout out to our licensees. I know we've got Michael, Damian, Howard in the room. We set out to design a market that was different from any other in the state, that prioritized creating space and opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses, that would realize the promise that folks oftentimes who have been left behind and left out weren't getting access to. And what we're doing right now, in my opinion, is so significant. It's so significant because not only are we putting our policies in a way, we're positioning our policies in a way to match the principles of the legislation, but we're also identifying the right people to lead New York into this new world post-prohibition. As the chair of the control board said, we've designed this market in a very intentional way, and we're going to continue to move in this direction. But this type of support, this type of campaign is necessary to help clear up the confusion that I think a lot of consumers in New York are experiencing as they see illicit shops proliferate across the state. And paired with any enforcement action needs to be really intentionally driven public education, and that's where Why Buy Legal is situated. To not just educate, but to really inform consumers about what it is that we're doing, what it is that we're building, and the benefits of participating in this new cannabis landscape that we've designed. I want a big shout out to the public health and campaigns team, to the communications and the digital team, to our outside partners who helped build up the infrastructure, design all the materials related to this campaign. This has been very difficult work, so big shout out to your teams. But really to the consumer and to the average New Yorker who is seeing the benefits and seeing a world post-prohibition, but not yet fully participating in the market that we're designing. I want to say that New York is open. We've got 7 dispensaries open and a lot more to come in the coming months. We encourage you to participate, to support these businesses as we continue to grow this market. Thank you and have a great day, everybody.
Well, congratulations, New York, right? I am super excited. My name is Dashita Dawson, and I'm the founding director for Cannabis NYC, and we are thrilled to support the Why Buy Legal campaign, which quite frankly is one of the first in the United States to really be grounded in public health. So shout out to the public health and educational campaigns team for really ensuring that we are kicking off this legal market the right way. Oftentimes, as someone who said we need to make the plug legit, people ask me, Dashita, why do you want to buy legal? And I see it as a win-win-win opportunity here. The first is, of course, grounded in the fact that this is the state that has the largest cannabis tax revenue that is returning back to communities disproportionately harmed by previous criminalization, right? That's the number one reason, right? At the end of the day, one of the things that we can say out of our legal market is that for every dollar that we put in, we're seeing that go back into those communities like the one I grew up in East New York, Brooklyn. And so that is a very personal thing to me to ensure that our tax dollars are righting the wrongs of the past and really starting to be reparative and restorative in its intent. Number two, these small businesses are by and large owned, right, by people who have been previously harmed themselves, as well as have been previously and historically disenfranchised and excluded. So you also are supporting your own community members in their ownership. And then last but not least, I'm really thrilled to see how many have reached out, how many are already starting to work with the resources in our office to develop their workforce. And so we also get the opportunity to make sure those same communities are the feeding into the workforce for the dispensaries as well. So why buy legal? Because it's a win-win-win, because we are protecting against public health and community safety, as well as the equity-centered goals that we have in this state. Why buy legal is because when we stood to hold the line in New York, the dispensaries, or rather, I wouldn't even call them dispensaries, the illegal stores that we see popping up, that was not what we stood to hold the line for. And why buy legal is because we're at the beginning stages of really demonstrating what excellence and equity in education looks like, not just here, but nationally and abroad. And this is the best way for us to get started. And so I'm really excited again to be supporting, and I want to congratulate the Office of Cannabis Management for an exceptional rollout, amazing videos, and I look forward to sharing and also seeing them in the New York City area as well. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. That concludes this Why Buy Legal launch event. And I wanted to say thank you and for the press for questions and the gaggle. We are so grateful to have a lot of our licensees who have made the trek, and they're offering their time and availability. So if you'd like to speak to the faces of Why Buy Legal and our public health campaign, please get in contact with me and the licensees available. But for everybody else, just want to thank you for your time. So everyone gets a round of applause. So. Mate, and it's.